Hi everybody, here's Krystian from Teamwork Cast.
And this is Putty, the amazingly voiced version of him today. I don't know how to stop going. All right.
Putty has a pretty sexy voice today.
I woke up sounding sexy.
Oh yeah. Anyways, this is CCG Archeology. This is Wyvern, the game of dragons, dragon slayers, and treasure.
So this game has a pretty significant place in CCG history.
It is. It has. Can you illuminate our listeners what the deal is?
So this game came out around the same time that Magic came out.
A bit later, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit later. It's but the sort of entertaining thing that happened with it is that when Magic the Gathering had printed Fallen Empires, the Fallen Empires expansion, the birth of Thalids, as it were. The two games are both being manufactured at the same factory, and so Wyvern card backs were printed on the fronts of cards from Magic the Gathering, and were distributed in Wyvern starters themselves.
Yeah, so sometimes you got Magic cards in here, and if we get Magic cards now, that would be so hilarious.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, yeah. Maybe that's something that we haven't discussed, but actually does it say that here? No, it doesn't.
I think this one was produced at the U.S. card, the place in, Texas?
It doesn't say so. I mean, it's published by U.S. Game Systems, but I think all of them are still printed. Yeah, there we go. Printed in Belgium in Cartamundi.
Ah, Cartamundi, okay.
So Cartamundi is basically the printing printer. The printing company that printed all of the CCGs, actually. So
the thing about this game, I guess, I don't know if it's worth talking about now, is that this game is designed by Mike Fitzgerald.
Oh yeah, that's true. Is he on here somewhere? Yes, there we go.
Yeah, it's on the side there. Mm-hmm. So Mike Fitzgerald has designed other amazing card games, like the Wyatt Earp card game, the WCW Nitro card game, the Pez card game, Pez, why not? Okay. The thing that he's probably most known for is a baseball game called Baseball Highlights.
All right, so going back to the Cartamundi, though.
Yeah, Cartamundi, I apologize.
I wanted to, because this is that's why how this mix-up that we talked about happened, how cards got printed with a back of a different card, because all of the manufacturers of those CCG went to Belgium, of all places, to this one company that specialized on printing those cards. And they had the reason why everybody went there is because this one printer apparently had the know-how on how to do this, and also they had those machines to randomize those packs. And that's all I wanted to say. So now you can continue with Fitzgerald.
Oh yeah, Mike Fitzgerald. So he, there's a Cartamundi USA. I had no idea.
Well, now they're rich as fuck, probably.
Language!
I'm sorry. But seriously, can you imagine, all the Magic, every CCG in the 90s was printed there. This is so crazy. Those guys must have been whoa, everybody, all those Americans are coming in and always want to print their cards, and where we are. So, it has some really horrible packaging, very difficult to read because the contrast is so bad.
However, it has the little divot.
It has the little divot, so this is better.
The most important advance in CCGs ever.
Starter deck, limited edition. Wyvern, the game of dragons, dragon slayers and treasure, is a fast-paced collectible trading card game. Each dragon in Wyvern universe is based upon actual mythological dragon, rendering in captivating and entrancing artwork. Cards are common, uncommon, rare, and ultra rare.
Ultra rare.
As you dominate your vast empire, you will want to collect all the cards to strengthen your army of dragons, enhance your battlefield position, and increase your treasure hoard. Artwork is already developed for the future editions. Oh, nice. Thanks.
Thanks, bros.
Welcome to the Kingdom of Wyvern, and it's a $7.95 suggested retail price.
So, this is just some sort of present-day stuff, because I had thought this was the other way around. Cartamundi has been purchasing all of the factories that Hasbro runs.
Oh.
And on July 14th this year, in 2015, Cardamundi announced that they were going to acquire Hasbro's last 2 factories, which are in Ireland and Massachusetts.
So what does that mean?
So basically, Cardamundi now owns all of the manufacturing for Hasbro, but also they produce a massive amount of board games and card games all over the world.
Yeah, those are pretty hefty people in Belgium there. So these are the famous card backs that you sometimes saw on Magic cards, and I must say those are pretty nifty.
They are pretty nifty. I like how they look.
They like to have like this honey golden kind of look. Mm-hmm. There's like a golden border here, and I think this is really sweet actually. So this reminds me actually a bit of the Netrunner cards, which also have like a silver border, but they were gold. And on the front, they look very similar to Magic, like very early Magic cards. So this game also had like this problem, or at least tried to address this problem, that you want to have like a playable deck from your starter pack. So there's like I think 15 cards. Are these 15 cards? Let me count 1, 2.
That's the dragon deck, right?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I guess. So do you have a bunch of cards which are fixed? Which are always the same, I think, or at least which are randomized from a certain set of cards. So you get at least a certain amount of dragons because you need dragons in this, and then the rest is basically randomized. So you can also get dragons in here, but they are rare.
And it's all treasure because this game's all about
there's dragons, treasure, and dragon slayers. There's a booklet. The booklet is not that great, I feel.
It's your standard. CCG
standard
books were this way for forever.
One thing that I don't like about this booklet, this game has a very complicated board layout, board setup.
It doesn't have a picture of it anywhere, does it?
It does, or doesn't it?
I haven't seen it.
There you go. Like you have this playing area. But the biggest problem I have is it's just numbers here, and it's kind of difficult to understand what is going on. It would be nice if it was a bit more illustrated, so you can tell because 14 is a pile, but you cannot like the visuals don't actually tell you if it's. You can only figure out if that's a pile when you look this up down here. So it's not actually visualizes how you're supposed to set up your playing area. I think having a more graphic layout here would be nice. And they had the capabilities. I mean, here's a picture, right?
Yeah.
So they could have drawn like a little pile here of cards instead of like just a box with a 14 inside.
Like, I'm looking at the rule sort of set up on Wikipedia, and all it says is players begin with 6 face-down dragon and terrain cards on the battlefield, so apparently that's where you're setting everything up. So
this is the cards 1 to 6. That's basically, that's your side of the field, and you put your dragons or treasures, but you put them face down. No, not treasures. You just, dragons or terrains, but you put them face down.
But you also begin with 25 gold painted pieces. And the game ends when one player no longer has any deployed dragons or terrain cards.
Yes.
And
so if you lose all your 6 cards in the middle here, then you lose the game.
And you get, at the end of the game, a scoring system is used, which rewards players for resourceful use of their assets.
Yeah.
Loser scores remaining gold pieces divided by 2 rounded down. How strange.
Yeah, it's a bit. So it's basically the row in which you have your guys in. Like, for example, 1 might be a dragon and 5 might be a dragon. The dragon in 1 can attack different rows of the enemy depending on which position they're in. So there's like 2 rows, basically, like in Final Fantasy, front row, back row kind of stuff. And another thing that's kind of like similar to Netrunner, I would even say, is that the cards are face down, so you don't know what the other player put down in what position. So you're kind of saying like, hey, I'm gonna res this dragon here, basically, paying some kind of cost, and I'm gonna attack something else that you have that is hidden. And then if the other player reveals in terrain, then sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So it's kind of like you kind of have to figure out what the other guy has. It has a bit of a bluffing going on, which is you don't have in Magic that much.
So I'm looking at in the background at the cards. Is this a game that had the caps lock button pressed firmly down?
Yeah. How observant of you. Yes, all of the text in this game is in caps. Strength 2 flying. When Geats wins a battle, one treasure in a row of losing dragon is discarded. You decide which one. Oh man, I'm getting lightheaded. I'm way into this. So this game did something interesting, I feel, because I had like a similar thing when I was working for a game developer, where as when you're making a game, it's difficult to make lore from scratch, to make something that people care about from scratch, to create new IP. Because, people have to read like a backstory to care about your characters or about your setting and stuff like that. So that's why a lot of people who work with games like to, get licensed products. So they already start with characters and with lore that people already care about.
Yeah, they, what's the term that I heard once? They steal fire from the gods. They either get an IP or they use old mythology. Yeah,
so, and this is basically like a cheap way of doing this because you basically don't have to pay the licensing. It's kind of like open source licensing.
Yeah.
So the game I did this with, or the game I witnessed this being done with, is actually a really great Game Boy Advance game called Santa Claus Jr.
Oh man, we have a playthrough of it on our Twitch channel, actually.
Yeah, we do. So check out Santa Claus Jr. It's a really, really great game. And that's what they kind of like, the developers kind of figure out. Like, we don't have the money to create to buy like some kind of expensive license, but everybody knows Santa Claus, so we're gonna make like a Santa Claus based jump and run. It's a really great jump and run, and this is basically the same thing where all the dragons and all the characters in here are based on mythology or different types of mythology, not just fairy tales and stuff like that, but also also some Eastern stuff as well. So I don't know what Geats is. I never heard about Geats personally. Geats is the dragon slayed by Beowulf in Anglo-Saxon myth.
Wow.
It says on here. And here is Azidaka. Azidaka breathes fire, poison, and hypnotic gas.
Azidaka appears in Final Fantasy X2, apparently.
All right. So
it's an Iranian dragon. How fun!
This is Kiolung. If Kiolung loses a battle, draw one from your treasure hoard draw pile.
Oh God! We should. So Mike Fitzgerald is the current co-host of the Ludology podcast, which I've enjoyed a lot in the past. We should talk to him and I really just want to ask him one question, which is why caps lock? Why?
Well, I think there's maybe better readable. It's the cards are very much in artwork and design are very much reminiscent of early Magic cards.
Well, I also wonder if, because this game came from like the mid 90s, I wonder if internet culture had not yet solidified.
So, writing caps lock didn't have like the negative connotations it has today?
Yeah.
So this is a lindworm. The lindworm has 7 skins, making it hard to kill.
Nice.
Loses 1 battle without dying, so it can lose 1 battle. Here, the gold coin is, I think, how much you have to pay to res it, basically.
Okay.
And strength is basically just a strength comparer. Like, if you have more strength than the opponent, then you win the game.
Kills dragons!
Kills dragons of 3 or less strength. It's a terrain. So, the basically is like you have like your card here, and it can be either a dragon or a terrain. And so, when the other guy says, I'm going to rest this lindworm, and I'm going to attack here, then you reveal like, haha, but it's a terrain, it's a pit. And it kills dragons of strength 3 or less. And so this lindworm would be like, oh, I'm strength 0, so I die. Burp.
How did a hole kill a dragon?
Like, I don't know. I guess the dragon is like, wah! They fall into the pit.
They can't use their massive claws and various ways.
It's a huge pit, man. It's huge. It's like an entire terrain of pit.
That doesn't. All right. It's in caps lock, so
it's a caps lock pit. So anyway, this is Chimera, which we know from Netrunner.
Ah, the Chimera.
And she has also strength 0. She's a scout. And Chimera attacks at 1 strength from face down. The rules are pretty complicated. I read through the manual once, but it was kind of a long time ago, so I don't have like all the intricacies of this. There is something about scouts that is really great.
So it's interesting to me because like this game didn't have the benefit of like 7th Sea or Doomtown or any of the card games that came later, even the Decipher games. They didn't have anything to pull from. So they were there creating something entirely new. And like a lot of those rules just didn't make any sense.
Well,
or were just really difficult to deal with.
That's something that we would have to ask the game designer, how he came up with all the rules here. But I think, Chimera attacks at 1 strength from face down. Okay, so if you've just been rested, and it has 1+1 strength, and later on it doesn't have the strength. This is a Moo, M-O-O.
Moo.
And it is strength 0. Scout, get 1 gold piece from the gold mine each time Mo discovers a terrain. So if you hit a terrain with him, you get money from this. This is great.
That's a Hawaiian dragon. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is really great. They really digged like a lot of different myths and international myths, multicultural myths, and found all sorts of dragons and put them in a game. It's pretty cool, actually.
Huh.
Terrain, underwater cave. Dragons can only attack face-up cards for the rest of the game. If there are no face-up cards, this dragon can only attack face-up cards for the rest of the game. If there are no face-up cards, he then attacks a face-down card.
At 1 strength.
A -1 strength.
So basically, the dragon that runs into that gets screwed.
He can only attack face-up cards, yeah. He can only attack dragons that already exist.
So what, do the underwater cave, does he just get a bunch of fish on him or something? Or
yeah, it's kind
of like glowing fish on him, and so everyone sees him coming?
I guess he's stuck in an underwater cave then?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what's going on there. This is Gandereva, and he is strength 2. So this is finally a dragon with some strength. Gandereva attacks at 4 strength from face down and 0 strength from face up.
So he's like a sneak attack dragon, and then after a while he just kind of lays on his back and lets you scratch his belly.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like he blows his load all at once, and then does nothing more. Gandereva is a sea dragon, and this is Master Datma. It is so difficult to read because the contrast is so low. Gandereva is a sea dragon that is master of water and its creatures. So what happens when this guy gets into an underwater cave?
I don't know.
This is a tunnel.
Whoa, is it complicated?
Dragon can only attack cards in a direct line across from the dragon card. If there are no cards there to attack, he may attack any card he could normally attack at -1 strength.
What?
So this is basically like the underwater cave. You are restricted once your dragon taps into this. He's restricted to where he can attack. And if there are no valid choices for him anymore, he can get away from this restriction, but he gets a severe penalty. This is this is not an F. This is an E. Echidna. Echidna dwells in the secret parts of Earth underground. She has 3 strength. If Echidna wins a battle, you may turn any face-up dragon face down.
Huh.
So this is what really confused me, because again we were talking about dragons attack face up and face down, so basically rest and then attacking, right?
Okay.
And in Netrunner, it's pretty clear. Like if something is face down, it's actually bad because you have to pay it to res it, basically.
Yeah.
But here you have a lot of dragons that get additional bonus when they attack immediately after being resed, basically. So this might be actually a really good bonus if you can turn them face down. So like this is like a good combo here, right? Because this guy attacks at 4 strength if he attacks from face down. So if you can turn it face down again, then he gets this bonus again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is kind of weird. Strength 1 flying. This is Shan. If Shan, a dragon, loses a battle, you draw 1 card from your treasure hoard draw pile. Oh yeah, and flying is also this thing where we had like this 2 rows set up here that we had previously. So dragons can only attack like 1 row ahead, I think. So it's like when you're in the back row here, you cannot attack the back row of your opponent. But if you have flying, you can. Because you can basically fly over everything.
How crazy.
So yeah, this one is strength flying, strength not flying. This is one strength 1, 2 strength when attacking from face down. Again, 0 strength when attacking from face up. So this guy again, this is Mushusu, which I think is a Eastern dragon. Anyway, so these are basically our dragon cards, and then we have like all the other cards. Now, something that we haven't discussed yet is that you basically have 2 decks in this game.
Yeah.
You have basically your dragon and treasure deck, which is this here. And you have all the other things deck.
Dragon and terrain.
Dragon terrain deck. So this actually a dragon terrain deck would be very similar to this, where it's just full of dragon and terrain.
Yeah.
And the other deck has like all the other cards.
So according to this, the Dragon's Lair draw pile, so the terrain and the dragons must have at least 15 cards. Official tournament rules require 20, with no more than any one of any given dragon. So you could not repeat dragons.
Yeah. So this is, I think this is like a really interesting design, perhaps even like a response to Magic, where you would, like, a very well-known problem with Magic is when you don't draw any lands or you draw too many lands.
Yeah.
Where you're very dependent on this very specific type of card, and you cannot there's no mechanic to reliably draw this. I mean, there are maybe later cards that are being released, but there's no mechanic embedded into the rules of the game that allow you to get something, even if you don't draw the right card. And so this like splits the decks into 2, which allows you to you can always reliably get the dragons from here, and that's why all the dragon cards that you play are replenished just from this deck, and all the hand cards are drawn from this deck.
So apparently, in this game,
I want to say, I think you never draw actually dragon cards from Dragon Pile. They're just replenished there. So you look at the card and you put it somewhere. You never draw it on hand.
So this game had ultra rares, which was unique for the time.
Is that true though? Because we in a Star Trek CCG they said they were ultra rares in there, but there weren't actual ultra rares inside.
So what this is they were part of it in the booster packs. Because I don't know if they were in the starters, but there's no way to really know, I guess, unless we ask Mike Fitzgerald. So it says here there were a special promotion in the Premier Limited Edition booster packs. There were gold wyverns and silver wyverns. They were both card 136. They were ultra rares and part of a mail-in contest for the Premier Edition only. They were redeemable for $15. So you mail in the card, you get $15 for the silver, and $25 for the gold. You could get $250 if redeeming the silver gold set with the same Roman numeral.
Okay.
So I guess that's what ultra rares were all about. I'm not entirely sure.
So you could mail in stuff and then you would get the ultra rares?
Yeah, but this is for the Premier Limited Edition. I don't know if that's what we're opening or not. I think it is, because this game only had this plus 2 expansions.
Edition. Yeah, it is limited edition.
Okay.
Limited. All right, so this is an action, turn the tables. When you decide which card of yours gets attacked, this turn, opponent must attack if possible.
Huh.
Oh, no, you decide which card of your gets attacked this turn. Opponent must attack if possible. Man, I'm misreading so many cards today. Battle action, fog. No archers can be used in this battle.
Huh.
So yeah, it like when you have battle, you can also like alternate playing those battle actions, which are basically combat tricks in Magic.
Yeah.
And you can kind of respond to each action with your own action, and the opponent can respond to that action in return. The kind of like this kind of stack type of mechanic going on here, because I guess that's a very attractive way to resolve combat. Gold shortage. All players take 2 gold pieces from their gold piles and put them in the gold mine. Oh yeah, so by the way, something that Magic didn't have is like tokens, where you have to keep track of how much mana you have.
Yeah.
But this is a game that introduced tokens. Pyrondel's Tree. So this is an action. The card you play, the Pyrondel's Tree on, cannot be attacked by a dragon during this turn. So this is basically like a protection from a dragon.
That's interesting. I like the interaction for this game.
Dragons always avoid the Pyrondel's Tree. Sacrifice. The winner of this battle must pay 2 gold pieces to the loser. I like this one. This is a battle action. So if you're losing, you can be like, all right, at least I'm gonna play this, so at least I'm gonna get money out of this. Lightning. This dragon is now a flying dragon as long as lightning is on the dragon. Lightning is discarded if the dragon is turned face down.
Huh.
Golden apple. Also, this is one important one. The dragon you play the golden apple on survives this battle even if he loses.
That's amazing.
So you can kind of rescue your dragons. So this is a dragon that we just got randomly, which is a Wyvern.
Yes.
Strength 4 flying. Nothing else.
It's just standard fare red dragon.
Just a random dragon with 4 strength. Coral Reef terrain. Strength modifier -1.
Huh.
Oh, so yeah, basically the idea is that if the dragon encounters the coral reef, he gets -1 on the strength.
Well, this is what I don't understand, because it's a strength modifier. So is it modifying the modifier so it doesn't modify the base strength?
It modifies the strength.
Okay.
By -1.
Okay.
So this is a treasure. So that's something we haven't talked about. But the idea is that you had like these cards in the middle here, which are your dragons or your terrain. But then 7, 8, 9, and 10 outside here are the treasure cards. And you can put treasures in there face up. And so this is one of the treasures. It has like a gold border, so that's how we know it's a treasure. It's golden apples. Dragon in this row can't be killed by terrain. So you can basically put this treasure on one of your rows, and then all your dragons are immune to terrain kill effects. But there is some way, I'm not exactly sure how, there is some way for the opponent to destroy this treasure. I think they have to kill all the dragons in this row.
Okay.
Or something like this, I'm not exactly sure. We're really bad about those rules. So if you know how to play this game, please write in the comment section.
Yeah.
And don't be too mean about this. We're sorry about this. We haven't played this game. We will eventually try it at least once.
Yeah, I think that the goal for a lot of this stuff that we're looking at is to just kind of open this up after having read the rule book to see how much sense it makes. Yeah. And then later have us actually playing these games.
Exactly. So this is Tsunami. This is an action for every one of your dragons. Your turn face up. Draw 1 card from your treasure hoard draw pile. Treasure hoard draw pile. So you maybe do draw the dragons? I'm not exactly sure. Magical healing. 1 dragon of your choice is healed back to his full strength.
It's Khaleesi.
Huh?
It's the Khaleesi.
Oh yeah, it is Khaleesi. How prophetic. 1994 were the first... When was the first Gurm thing released? Wait a minute, it's not Khaleesi, it's a man. It's a bearded man.
Ah, what could be? Man Khaleesi.
Gandalf the White.
First one was in 96.
Cancels current battle. Dragons go back to their positions face up. So you can cancel a battle if something goes wrong. Then we have a river, terrain modifier -1. A crystal ball. You may look at the next 5 cards in any player's treasure hoard draw pile. You may then reshuffle the draw pile or rearrange the 5 cards in any order you wish. So you can kind of look ahead what kind of... So it's basically, what's the name? Precognition from Netrunner.
You know, all of the other card games that we've been looking at, you could still play. This game is exhausting to read because of the caps lock.
It's, like the design is really not very much refined. Like there is very little margin between the different graphical elements. There's very little margin up here where the text is, and the text has, like in this one, it has a bit better contrast, but on the other cards, it has really poor contrast. And the artwork is... Well, it's mid-90 artwork.
Yeah.
So this is a Dragon Slayer action. So this is interesting because you can it's basically removal spells. You can play it on a dragon and slay it immediately. Cadmus kills any flying dragon, for example. And the Dragon Slayer cards are also based on mythology. So you get like a Beowulf and stuff like that, you know. So I guess Cadmus is one of the Dragon Slayers from some kind of fairy tale. This is an action knowledge. Look at the player's hand. Like this is something that's fascinating to me, which I think Netrunner is the first game that really took that really did it right, because I feel like, especially with Magic, like often having knowledge of the player's hand wasn't very that important.
Yeah.
I mean, you could maybe see what kind of combat tricks they have.
Maybe 5% of the time you find, a killer combo is about to come, but you can't do anything about it anyway.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so I guess I'm not attacking.
There are some cards, I think, in Origins and that where you get to look at the hand and choose a card to discard.
Yeah, that's something else. Yeah, so that's maybe more useful. But simply having a knowledge is not that powerful in those types of games. Those early CGs. I mean, it's not completely useless, but it's just not as powerful. And Netrunner really is a game that really uses this ability, like uses this fact. You can having knowledge of what other guy has is tremendously important. And I guess this game also had like this hidden information kind of stuff where cards are face down. So it also started to experiment with hidden knowledge a little bit. This is Battle Reaction Armor, cancels the play of any action card that has a strength modifier on the card.
Oh, nice.
So this is basically like a counter. Your dragon gets -1, but no, he has armor, so he doesn't get -1.
Why doesn't that knight have a face?
The most important thing is, why would a dragon wear a knight armor?
Yeah, I don't quite understand.
City, a dragon of your choice can be turned face down.
Nice.
Battle action, fire breathing, strength modifier +1. So this is like a very standard. This is basically a giant growth, I guess, of this game.
I like the idea that all dragons breathe fire.
Yeah, you can make all dragons breathe fire, even the sea dragons. This is a secret treasure. You may draw as many cards from your treasure hoard draw pile as you pay gold pieces for. So you can pay money to draw cards. This is an action called Marduk. No battle action cards can be played this turn. Marduk is the son of Tiamat.
Tiamat.
Thor! Thor kills any subterranean dragon.
Torgo!
No, Thor. The Thor from Marvel's Avengers.
Thor. Oh. Torgo.
Who's Torgo?
He's in a very bad movie.
Anyway, Twister. All players may rearrange all cards in the battlefield. Oh, nice. So this is this is interesting. Especially, so wait a minute. Players may rearrange all the cards, but do they do it secretly?
I don't. Yeah, so much of the interactions for this game, this particular card seems insane. You're spending all of this time, right? Setting up this very careful strategy, and then it's all set it up again.
Everything is different now. Hailstorm.
No, I'm not putting anything else. I'm not changing anything.
Battle action, Hailstorm. -2 strength to all flying dragons in a battle. Nice. Seaweed, related to Sandu, perhaps. Mm-hmm. Seaweed is played on a face-up dragon and gives that dragon a minus strength modifier for this turn.
Well, somebody really didn't like Kale at all.
Treasure, magic wand. Any dragon in this row can become a flyer or a non-flyer at any time for the rest of his turn. So
I like that this magic wand is like a plastic cheap magic wand that from Walmart or something.
Yeah, from like a stage magician.
Yeah, you're like, wait, why couldn't you just do a little, I don't know. Anyway.
Desert, strength modifier -1. Possession spell. You may add the strength of any face-up dragon on the table to this battle. The dragon cannot be the one that is currently in the battle. So you basically call in the spirit of another battle to help you out.
There's a really weird sort of thing going on here because there are apparently humans in the game of Wyvern, but maybe because none of them have faces, it's supposed to be you?
I think that's always supposed to be you.
That's interesting.
You're basically like a dragon master. This is a treasure cauldron. On each of your turn, you may turn a dragon in this row face down. So again, it seems like turning things face down is actually very good in this game.
Yeah.
Sacrifice. We already had sacrifice. Meteor shower. All players discard their hands and draw 5 cards from the treasure hoard's draw pile. So this is Levy access for everybody.
There's a weird... I'm reading about a variant of this game where 2 players compete over the same treasure pile.
Ah,
that's interesting.
So this is city action. Or we had this. This is help battle action. You may bring one dragon. One card away into the battle. Flying dragons can come from anywhere in the table. So you can team up with other dragons. This is the tree, or you have this tree. Dragon Slayer action, Sir Lancelot. Sir Lancelot kills any dragon of 3 or less strength.
So this person has a face, so it is not you.
This is not you. This is actually the Lancelot. Gold Thief. Oh man, look at this artwork.
That's some fantastic artwork. He looks like the Gold Thief Goblin from Diablo 3. But not as cool. He doesn't have a giant bag.
This is like an early appearance of Vivian James.
What's with his feet?
What kind of... Why is he wearing those socks? This is like some kind of fetish going on.
Well, it's like his feet are made out of feathers.
This is amazing. Look at... He has glasses?
He has glasses on, really? Oh my god.
Why does he have glasses?
Like a pair of magic specs.
This is like... Oh man, this is... Nick, this is where hipsters come from. We witnessed the Rosetta Stone of hipsterdom.
Oh my god. Who knew? Wyvern is the game that the hipsters loved. I loved CCGs. I loved Wyvern.
Oh, you played Magic, huh?
I loved Wyvern.
I loved Wyvern. So this is Khaleesi.
Khaleesi.
This is actually Marina. Marina cancels the play of a Dragon Slayer. The Russian sorceress Marina likes to seduce brave dragon slayers and change them into harmless magpies or pigs or oxen. Man, this is amazing!
It's like a siren mixed with like, I don't know, that's weird.
It's so, somehow to me, like this, the fact that this game taps into all this mythology is really appealing, I feel. Cadmus. Cadmus kills any flying dragon. Cadmus is a Greek dragon slayer.
Bad guy's basically clubbing a seal.
Yeah, it's not a big dragon here, right?
Like, hello, baby dragon. Mama. Poof. Rude.
Mama. Today he would just make a photo and post it on Instagram. Village. Remove any one card from a dragon. So you can heal your dragon in a village, I guess. Saint George. Saint George removes any one treasure from the game. All right, you can remove treasures. Princess Libya. Saint George. This is nice. So this is actually something, 2 cards that interact with each other. So Saint George removes any one treasure from the game, but this is a treasure. Saint George must rescue Princess Libya before he can remove any other treasure.
That's kind of interesting.
So you can kind of put Princess Libya as a counter to Saint George, basically, in play. But then it's like, why don't you just put another copy of the treasure that you want to keep? Volcanic Eruption. Bring any card from your treasure hoard discard pile to your hand. Jewels. Dragon in this row get +1 strength when defending. What's with treasures and dragons, Nick?
It's because smog.
All right. Frost breathing. No fire breathing can be played during this battle.
It's so cold.
So I don't know. This game seems to be set up like all those counter cards. They really want to have like those fierce battle ways, like fire breathing, no frost breathing. No what? Then I don't know, something else. Dwarven army, a strength modifier +1 as a battle action.
They're not riding pigs.
No firebolt! Strength modifier +3. That's actually pretty hardcore.
Firebolt? Nice.
Pretty hardcore.
Alright,
so this is Wyvern, Nick. This is Wyvern. I'm still amazed because the back looks really nice.
Yeah.
Really, really sweet. Really cool and stylish. But the actual cards look a bit dated.
Yeah.
A bit dated.
But you know, I mean, on the box it says artwork has been completed for the next 2 expansions. Bind into the future.
Also, we have to remember that there's just one person who did the artwork.
Yeah.
It's just one person, Peter Pracownik. If that's really just one guy who did all of those images, then man, he was like on a deadline.
How do you spell that name?
Pracownik. It seems like a Polish name. It means worker in Polish.
Oh, he did the Lord of the Rings tarot deck, but he hasn't done anything else other than Wyvern, from what I can tell.
Limited edition. So what are our impressions of Wyvern?
Well, It definitely seems like it is an early game in CCG history.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of rules to pull from. Everything seems kind of strange. Like, the fact that there are a ton of cards that seem to interact with each other sort of indicates that, like, they hadn't really started thinking about, like, overall deck construction. Where people were just kind of throwing cards into a deck and not really being mindful of it all.
Yeah, also, like, I feel like they're not thinking in terms of systems, but they really like this idea of somebody plays a card and somebody has the right answer to this card. They really wanted to have, like, this kind of interaction. But they weren't... But they didn't think one step further in trying to make this into, like, a system of interactions. But instead, like, this is, this singular instances of where this one card counts as this one specific card, which, again, as you said, like, this doesn't really lend itself well to deck building.
Yeah.
Because if the other guy doesn't have that other card, then your card is useless.
Your time. But I think that it's interesting because you can see some of the rules, like the face down stuff, the face up stuff, a lot of the rules that are in this game, because I know this game was pretty popular when it came around because...
It was?
Yeah. A lot of people played this game and then it sort of disappeared because it warranted enough money, I guess, for 2 expansions.
Oh, there were 2 expansions, nice.
Yeah, and then it just kind of disappeared, which is kind of the way that a lot of the original card games went. So I think that this game inspired a lot of other games, but maybe the sort of, I guess, new nature of card games kind of didn't work in this game's favor too well.
I like that because, if you look at Magic, like the combat in Magic is like very simplistic. There's really not much to it. You just attack and the other guy blocks. It's like this very, very simple interaction. So I kind of like appreciate how they went in and tried to make like a more complex battlefield that is more about bluffing.
Yeah.
And positioning and stuff like that, trying to add more rules to how combat is played out. And again, something that we discussed like just now is that like I really appreciate the lore that they tapped into to create all those cards.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting. This Mike Fitzgerald really did a lot of traditional card games. So I think that this particular game is definitely inspired by like traditional card games. So it's like we're gonna make a game about board game about dragons and we're gonna put like Sir Lancelot in there because everybody knows Sir Lancelot, right? Yeah.
I kind of like this because again it's kind of awesome, Sir Lancelot, and so opening Sir Lancelot and saying in here is so like at least meaningful and not like this is Jace. He's a dude who wears a mantle, I guess, and he, we're just always complaining about Magic. We were both enjoy Magic a lot. It's just, it's interesting to see alternatives, how things are played out different.
And also, like, ways that games could have gone, or ways that, like, because Magic kind of has dominated the way that card games and CCGs and things like that were developed over time, because what's successful is what's going to sell, and what sells means that you're going to see it repeated again and again and again. That's so true. Just to see kind of alternatives out there that people have kind of forgotten about, it's nice.
It's very nice. So we're gonna see if we can playtest this again. Oh man, we have opened so many things and we haven't done too many playtesting. So hopefully there is going to be some playtesting of this Wyvern thing. I really want to try it out. It seems like a very interesting thing, especially like a very early example of an early CCG trying to compete with Magic.
Yeah,
we're gonna put this into the museum.
It belongs in the museum.
Yes.